We're good.
Okay, cool. So, hello everyone. I am Agustin Martinez Fachó, and I am a SPIRE maintainer, and I'm part of the HPE security engineering team. And we have been working with Marcos Jacob on the serverless support in SPIRE. Marcos is really the one that has been working hard on the implementation of this. After a lot of great feedback from the community, we finally achieved a broad consensus about how the solution should look like. And serverless support is finally becoming a reality in SPIRE. So let's start looking at the details. The serverless support that is being developed in SPIRE is really a solution for any use case that involves environments where installing SPIRE agent is either not possible or maybe not desirable. One of the most common situations is workloads running on serverless computing architectures offered by the offering by the main cloud providers like AWS Lambda, Google Cloud Functions, or Microsoft Azure Functions, where you can't install SPIRE agent. And that was like the main first motivation of all this effort. But this list can be expanded to any situation where it may be difficult or not possible to install the SPIRE agent, like it is the case of trusted execution environments to run confidential workloads, where you may not be able to run SPIRE agent, but you may still retrieve the identity material if it was previously stored. So there are ongoing efforts to align this solution to the support of confidential workloads in SPIRE, and we are looking forward to work closely with Matheus on this. Let me try to describe how we get to the solution that we finally decided to apply in SPIRE for this. We explored many different options and models to provide the serverless support. We considered a pull model versus a push model. We looked at a possible solution using helper programs versus providing a built-in support in SPIRE. We finally got broad consensus from the community to implement a push model through the introduction of a new SPIRE agent plugin that is the SB2Store plugin that I will talk in a minute, which allows us to introduce serverless support as a first-class citizen in SPIRE. Let's start looking at how this works. This is a a typical basic deployment of SPIRE, where you have a SPIRE server with a data store where you have your registration entries, and you're also running a SPIRE agent that communicates to that server, fetching the identities that are entitled to that agent, and keeps the agent cache updated, so it has the SBITs ready to be provided to the workloads through the workload API. So this is like the basic scenario of having running SPIRE. What we are now introducing is a way to identify the entries that you will use to provide identities to your serverless workloads. And what this mean in the practice is that when you create a registration entry, you're now able to specify if you want to store externally the resulting SBIT from that entry. And this store action is done by this new plugin type that we're introducing and that I mentioned. That is the SBIT store plugin that receives the updates from the agent cache. So when there is a new identity, it is notified and called. And when the SBIT store plugin is notified about a new identity or an existing identity that is rotating, what SPIRE does is instead of having that identity ready to be fetched through the workload API, it pushes it to a designated store. And the details of how the identity is stored and the specific attributes that each store requires are specified through the selectors of the entries. So, for example, if you are using AWS Secrets Manager as a store, because there is a plugin that stores in AWS Secret Manager, you will be able to specify the secret name through the selectors of the entry. Well, this provides a pretty flexible mechanism to describe the attributes needed by each specific store platform. So like I said, like the AWS plugin will need certain things different than the Google Cloud plugin or the Microsoft Azure plugin, and can the selectors can also be used to describe attributes needed by maybe a completely different store mechanism, like can be a plugin to store the identity material on disk, for example. So having a plugin that stores the SBIT on disk can be useful for those workloads that don't natively speak to the workload API, because not they are those workloads actually are prepared to get an identity reading a certificate from disk, but they don't understand the workflow API. So there are plenty of examples for that, and this example of this plugin is actually like the main use case for the current SPIFFE helper, which could be replaced by this plugin, at least in the functionality to store SVIDs on disk and keep them updated when they rotate. So this allows to have like a wide range of different plugins, like supporting different secret stores, or like I said, maybe just a plugin that stores on disk, or in different store platforms that we may need to support. And well, and finally, we see here that the workload running in a serverless architecture or in an environment that is not capable to access the workflow API can fetch its identity from the secret store in the same way that maybe if it is a function running in AWS, in the same way that it also can get or it gets other secrets. So this is the like a high level overview of how the serverless support is being implemented in SPIRE, and what you can expect when all the work is merged. There is a project that captures all the related issues and all the effort for this. So if you look at that, you will see the status of the different pull requests and issues, and track the process for this work.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, that's what I have about the server support. I'm not sure if there are any questions.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Augustine. I think we'll take 1 or 2 questions right now, and then we can take more in the end. I think Dennis has a question. Dennis, you want to unmute and ask it yourself?
Yeah, I posted this question in the chat. I was just wondering if this same flow can be used to verify SVIDs in a serverless environment. If I receive an SVID, can I access a trust bundle via this SVID store, or is it just a store of SVIDs?
No, yeah, the idea is that in the store you will have access. You will be able to access the SVID certificate, the trust bundle, and the key. So that's what it will be pushed to the store. You will have access to the bundle, so you can perform verifications of certificates and all that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can take a couple more questions if you want to unmute yourself and ask it, Rafi.
Sure. On the question of the store and then being accessed by the workload, I think in the SPIRE basic setup, it's the SPIRE agent is doing the workload attestation. Is the expectation that the proper workload attestation is done by the customer then, by using kind of the cloud infrastructure as primitives for security to make sure that the right identity is accessing the right SPIDs?
Yeah. So I think that we will certainly be providing some guidance on that, but it's actually up to the to the implementing function to set the proper permissions for the serverless workload to access the secret store and retrieve the identity material. So that's out of the scope of what the SPIRE implementation does.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we can take one more. Brad, if you want to ask your question.
Sure. Yeah, I just had a question about the architecture diagram. So it looked like the identities were sent to the SPIRE agent, which then pushes them to the store. I was wondering if this implies that you should only be pushing a single agent, or what happens if you have multiple agents? Do they all try to write them to the store? How is that handled?
No, yeah, there are good. There shouldn't be any limitation of like multiple agents doing this, and also actually having different plugin types pushing to different stores. This is still all under development, but for example, in the current proof of concept that we have, you are able to push to different regions of like if you're running AWS Secret Manager, you can push to different regions, but you would also be able to run maybe different plugins, and also if you have more than one agent, obviously each one may be configured to push to different store. So those are the different scenarios that we see. Not sure if that answered your question. So there is the deployment. The deployment of SPIRE doesn't really the architecture is not really affected by this plugin type. You can continue having the deployment decisions shouldn't really be affected by this. Obviously, like the main thing to consider is that the registration entries that have this store SVID bool, they are not you will not be able to fetch the SVID using the workload API for those, and they are meant to be pushed to an external store.
Great, thank you, Brad. I hope that clarifies your question.
Yes, thank you.